And welcome back to another edition of the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. I'm Jake Wilson. Glad to be back. We've got a lot to preview this week as we've got some great racing action coming up this weekend. We're also going to take a look back at this past weekend at some great action that happened throughout the short track world. And we've got a very, very special guest coming up on the show later today. We're going to be joined by super late model driver Michael Goddard, who's going to be one of many drivers that are going to be headed to South Alabama Speedway this weekend to compete in the running of the Frank Grill Memorial 112 alongside the UARA National Tour at South Alabama Speedway coming up this Saturday, September the 20th. You're going to be able to watch that race exclusively on Racing America. Our own Erin Wilcoxon is going to chat with Michael and kind of preview the race that's going to be coming up. Michael is going to be making his debut with the Grant Thormeier Racing team. That's going to be coming up this weekend, and we're looking forward to having Michael be a part of the team going forward here throughout the rest of the 2025 season. Michael, a talented young driver that I've had the opportunity to call several of his wins, a driver that worked his way up through the pro truck ranks, into super late models, but a win at the Frank Grill Memorial 112 would certainly be one of the biggest wins of his career. We'll check in with Michael here in just a little bit with Erin, but we want to go back and take a look back at this past weekend. Some big action happening all around the country. We're going to start first in the ASA Stars Tour. They were at Toledo Speedway for a big 200-lap event at the Toledo Speedway, the Glass City 200. Had a great field of 21 cars as their season is beginning to wind down, getting into that little final stretch run of just a few races remaining on the calendar. Cole Butcher is trying to secure the championship this year. He's had a dominating season this year with Donnie Wilson Racing, but trying to close it out and try to pick up some more wins here along the way. But going back to last Saturday night at Toledo, it was all about young Dawson Sutton, the driver of the War Rackley team. Put on an absolute clinic at Toledo in a 200-lap event. The young man led 155 of the 200 laps to secure his second career win in the ASA Stars National Tour. Driver that competed earlier in the week at Bristol Motor Speedway, had that Tennessee Volunteer truck looking pretty good there at Bristol on Thursday. Carried that momentum to Toledo to pick up the win. He's able to hold off Cole Butcher. Max Reeves, a driver that we've seen win some big pro late model races this year, now starting to get some opportunities in super late model ranks, racing out of the Joe Gibbs Racing stable. He brought it home in third. You had Casey Klein having a top five effort, bringing it home in fourth. Ty Majeski rounded out the top five. You take a look back throughout the field. You had Carson Brown finishing just outside there. You had Gavin Bushell finishing back in 10th. You had Derek Thorne back in 15th, and a little bit of a disappointing effort there out of Bubba Pollard as his team brought it home 17th out of the 21 cars that competed at Toledo. For Cole Butcher, the second place run, exactly what that team needs to do to continue their momentum and continue on throughout the season as they extended their points lead over Carson Brown to 97 points. Dawson Sutton now up to third in points. Gavin Bushell is fourth. 97-point advantage for Butcher. Only 2 races remaining on the season this year for the ASA Stars National Tour. They will head to Winchester coming up on October the 12th. Of course, the running of the Winchester 400. And then they're going to conclude their season next after that coming up in November the 9th for the running of the All-American 400 at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Can Cole Butcher close it out here in these final 2 races? We will have to check that out. Big race going on at Cordele Motor Speedway this last weekend. Pro late model competition for them coming off the big super late model event that they had the week before. And what a battle we had in the closing laps. Came down to the wire. Jake Finch has had so much success as of late in the Ronnie Sanders number 18. But Garrett Gum, a young driver that maybe hasn't been on a lot of people's radar, really put on a show. And what a battle between these two drivers coming down to the line photo finish coming to the line. Garrett Gum able to get the win and outduel Jake Finch for the Pro Late Model win at Cordele last weekend. So congratulations to Garrett and his team for a very impressive win last weekend at Cordele Motor Speedway. Some big races coming up in the dirt world. We've got the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series going to be headed to Knoxville for a trio of races. They're going to be racing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at Knoxville as their season starts to wind down. Only 9 events left for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. We'll see if Ricky Thornton Jr. can close out the championship this season. And over on the dirt side, High Limit Racing, they're racing tonight actually at the Berg at Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And then they're going to be rolling into Tony's place this weekend, Eldora, for a couple of races at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. And speaking of Tony Stewart, he made some big news earlier today when he announced that Rico Abreu is going to be joining Tony Stewart Racing starting in 2026. You're going to have kind of a merger between Rico's team and Tony's team. They did announce that they are going to compete for the full high limit schedule next year, but they are going to run some of the select races outside of the high limit series. But we saw all the success that Donnie Schatz and Tony Stewart were able to have throughout the length of their relationship. Could we possibly see another dynasty in the making with Tony Stewart bringing Rico Abreu on board? I feel like that's just a great pairing and a great match to put Tony and Rico together. So big things coming up next year in 2026. So looking forward to seeing what the combination of Rico and TSR is going to look like in 2026. World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, they've still got a few more events coming up leading up to their World Finals weekend, not only with the Sprint Cars and the Late Model Dirt Series as well. So we're looking forward to seeing them coming up here throughout the remainder of the season. And get your calendars ready and get ready for next weekend. A big weekend coming up, September the 27th at Five Flags Speedway, as they're getting ready to start to conclude their 2025 season, as their Night of Champions events are going to begin this weekend. But I've got next weekend circled in particular, Saturday, going to be September the 27th at Five Flags Speedway. You're going to have the Southern Super Series wrapping up the Blizzard Series event there. It's going to be the Blizzard Series finals as well as the Alan Turner Pro Late Model races. That's all going to be coming up there. You've got Cole Butcher currently leading the point standings in the Super Late Models at Five Flags Speedway over Stephen Nassy, Matt Craig, and Jake Finch. Over on the Pro Late Model side, we mentioned Jake Finch a little earlier, having that great battle with Garrett Gum, but he is the current points leader in Pro Late Model competition over Seth Christensen, Dustin Smith. Also got Cole Williams and Colin Allman up there battling for the points in the Pro Late Model division. So that's going to be coming up, and another big event, and I'm looking forward to it. The UARA Sportsman Series is going to get back in action coming up on September the 27th. They return to action at Auburndale Speedway for the Duco Performance 75 with the UARA Sportsman Series, an event that was originally going to be a series of Twin 50 events. That's been cut down now to a 75 lap event with the UARA Sportsman Series. Got a big field of cars expected for that one. I believe we've already got 23, maybe even 24 cars already pre-registered for that event, and I would assume that number is going to continue to rise as we get closer and closer to the start of that event. Can Dodge Carlbert win back-to-back championships? He's looking to be the first driver to ever do that in the UARA Sportsman Series. And he comes in with a 34-point advantage over James C. Wright. And then you've got Adam Briggs and Brandon Morris doing everything they can to try to close in to see if they can catch Dodge Carlbert and see if he can close out the UARA Sportsman Championship here in 2025. Coming up on the other side, we've got a big event coming up this weekend at South Alabama Speedway. The Frank Grill Memorial 112 for the UARA National Tour is coming up, and we're going to get you set and ready to go for all the action. When we come back on the other side, we will have a preview of the Frank Grill Memorial 112 coming up next on the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast.
Five-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
Race Car Engineering is your single source supplier for all your racing equipment. Dirt, asphalt, drag strip, street rod, or off-road. Their experts can keep you on the track and in the lead no matter what type of racing you do. Hundreds of brands, thousands of parts. Find them online at racecareng.com or call them toll free at 800-882-7231 and make sure to ask for your free catalog. That's Race Car Engineering, 800-882-7231.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction. It's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
When the heat's on, chill harder with Just Chillin' cooling products. Stay frosty, keep it cool, keep it fast, Just Chillin'.
And welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. Jake Wilson with you here, and we have got a big weekend coming up at South Alabama Speedway. That's right. The UARA National Tour is headed back to Opp, Alabama for a inaugural event here for the first time here in 2025, the running of the Frank Grill Memorial 112 coming up this Saturday, September the 20th. You'll be able to watch that race live on Racing America, or for all the great racing fans there in the South Alabama area. Do whatever you can to try to get there and be there in person. This is going to be a special event. We had Augie Grill on the show last week. He caught up with Erin and kind of talked about not only all the amazing stories and great parts of his career, but talked a little bit about his father and what it means to be able to bring this event to life, something that he and UARA National Series Director Ricky Brooks kind of started talking about a little bit last year and kind of got the ball rolling a little bit as they got closer to the start of this season. And then it became apparent that with the assistance of both UARA and with John Dykes and everyone at South Alabama Speedway, that this was definitely possible to be able to put this race on. You heard Augie talk about how South Alabama Speedway has a rich tradition of super late model racing, but over the past several years, the only time super late models are in action at South Alabama Speedway is during the Runner of the Rattler 250 weekend earlier in March. So there had been talk about what can we do to try to bring some more super late model racing to this track, to this area, and what better way to do it than with the Frank Grill Memorial and honoring Augie Grill's father and their family and the great legacy that they have. So they got to work, got a lot of great people coming on board, some big sponsors that have stepped up. When they originally announced this race, the original purse was announced at $7,500 to win the race. And in a very short period of time, you saw multiple sponsors step up and increase that purse. It's now gone from $7,500 to win to $10,000 to win. We saw a $500 fast time award get put up. Well, that money got more than doubled now as well. Now, if you're second fastest, you're going to take home $500. It's going to be over $1,000. I believe it's $1,120 that's going to go to whoever is able to set fast time coming up this Saturday at South Alabama Speedway. So the entry list has come out, and boy, is it a stacked field. If you're a fan of super late model racing, particularly in the Southeast, you are not going to want to miss this race. We've got over 20 cars registered for this event. I believe they're looking at 21. I believe they said there's even the possibility that they're going to add a couple of more here as we get closer and closer to the start of this race weekend. Maybe some teams that were a little bit on the fence that didn't quite know if they were going to have their cars ready or not. It's looking like we're going to have a really solid field. Augie Grill is going to be there. Augie's a driver that, of course, is a former Snowball Derby champion, former Alabama 200 winner, but he's talked about it last week. He's kind of scaled back his racing, had some health issues over the last few years, wants to focus on family, wants to make sure that he's taking care of things both back at home and at work. But this is a big opportunity for Augie to get behind the wheel. He's not racing on a week in and week out basis like he used to. He's kind of picking and choosing. But what better way to come out and put on a show than in the race that's going to bear your family's name and your father's name. Augie's going to be a part of that. We're going to have World Crown 300 winner from last year, Michael Hind, is going to be in the field. Colin Allman, who's just absolutely taken the short track world by storm this year, and a driver that won earlier this year in UARA national competition at the Freedom Factory. He's going to be in the field. Anthony Cataldi will be there. And, oh, yeah, the driver that led 249 of the 250 laps earlier this year at the Rattler 250, Michael Atwell, is going to be there, and he's going to be looking to try to score his second win of the season at South Alabama Speedway. Some other big-name drivers that are going to be there as well. You're going to see a trio of drivers from the Grant Thormeier Racing team, including Nick Neary, our winner of the B.J. Ingram Memorial 154 at Auburndale Speedway earlier this year. Max Steinhorst is back once again to make another start, and we're going to hear from Michael Goddard in just a little bit. He's going to complete that trio of Grant Thormeier Racing team drivers that are going to be competing. We're also going to have drivers John Kaufman, Travis Slauson, Bray Holmes is going to make the trip up from Florida. Dustin Smith will be competing. Jim Wall will be there. You're also going to have Daniel Webster. Chad Pierce, a driver that's been preparing a lot of race cars over the last few years, but hasn't really got a chance to get behind the wheel a whole lot. He's going to be in this race as well. Also got confirmation from last week that both Jake Finch and Stephen Nassy are also going to be in this field as well. So that's an absolutely stacked field. It's, I believe, the current entry list, I believe it's at 21 or 22 cars if I have to check my notes. But I believe that's where we're at. That's right about the number of cars that we had earlier this year with the Rattler 250. And with this being a much shorter race, 112 laps, they're going to run this race on just one set of tires. And these drivers, they're not going to be holding back a whole lot. They're going to be going. Passing can be difficult at times at South Alabama Speedway, so getting a good starting position and firing off quickly and making sure that you can manage your tires over the course of that 112 laps is going to be very important, and that's what it's going to come down to and who we think is going to win this race. Taking a look at just some of the drivers that kind of pop off the page to me, and how could you not start with Michael Atwell, who won the Rattler 250 earlier this year? He's made 6 UARA starts this year. He's got 3 top 5s, 5 top 10 finishes this year. A little bit of a disappointing effort earlier this year at the Freedom Factory, but if you take that off the resume this year, Atwell's team, they've been firing on all cylinders. They came up a little short back at Auburndale when they had brake issues later on in the race while they were leading. Nick Neary was able to track him down in the final laps and get the win in the B.J. Ingram Memorial. Atwell and them had that car absolutely dialed in back in March during the Rattler 250. I look forward to seeing what they can do in a little bit of a shorter race and see if Atwell can score a big victory. He comes into the night second in the UARA National Money List behind Austin Hall, who won the Battle at Berlin 250 for a huge $40,000 payday. And so for Atwell, he's within about $6,000 of that championship lead So if Atwell's able to get out of here with a win, that's going to put him back in the driver's seat and put him back in the championship lead. But for Atwell and his team, even if they don't have that winning car for the night, it is so important for them to try to bring it home and get the best possible finish they can, because there's only 3 races remaining in the UARA national schedule. And remember, the champion is determined by which driver has the most money at the end of the season. You heard me mention Colin Allman earlier. Allman had a great run earlier this year. He was the winner at the Freedom Factory, ran second earlier this year to Michael Atwell at the Rattler 250. Can Colin and his team, I always call them, they're the little team that could and the little team that will, can they get it done and score another big UARA national win? That's another driver to certainly keep an eye on. How about Stephen Nasse? Nasse's always a threat no matter where he shows up, and he's had some success before at the South Alabama Speedway. He's been a 2-time winner in the Baby Rattler, but has been unable to get the victory in the Big Rattler 250. So maybe the shorter race, maybe less laps, maybe that'll kind of suit Nasse and his team a little bit better. So we'll see. For Nasse, if he can get a good qualifying effort and get himself up in the front and not have to spend the first 40, 50, 75 laps charging up through the field, if he can already be up there in that top 5 and manage his stuff, I think Nasse is going to be somebody to keep an eye on. Why not Augie Grill, 2-time winner of the Rattler 250 in 17 previous starts, and of course a 2-time winner of the Snowball Derby. I think Augie is coming into this race with a lot of emotion, but I think he's going to have a lot driving him. He's going to have a lot of family there. He's going to have a great presence and a lot of people that are going to be there to help him and push him. And I think that would be a very, very popular win if Augie Grill were to be able to win the inaugural running of the Frank Grill Memorial 112. Mentioned Michael Hind as well, winner last year of the World Crown 300. Would certainly keep an eye on that team as well. They always seem to kind of show up and shine in some of these big races and some of these big events, and he's had some pretty solid runs at the South Alabama Speedway before. I think he's a driver that could certainly be a threat to run up into the top 3 and possibly compete for this win. And we're going to stick with the Grant Thormeier Racing team. Nick Neary got the win at Auburndale, and this team, the last couple of times out, they've looked really, really solid. Had a little bit of a disappointing run up at the Berlin Raceway, but headed back to a track where they've got a notebook from earlier this year that they can build off of, and some great runs earlier this year at Auburndale and the Freedom Factory. Nick Neary, somebody that I think could keep an eye on as well, and running with, he's going to have 2 teammates there with Michael Goddard and Max Steinhorst that could, you could bounce some information off of and a lot of notes. And they're going to try to go in there with 3 cars and 3 teams that can try to work together and see what kind of run that they can get out of it. Maybe Nick Neary could pick up his second UARA national win of the season. So if we're taking a look at the money list right now, Austin Hull, $42,100. He is the money leader so far this season with UARA National. Michael Atwell, $36,000, not far behind him. If they can find a way to score a win in this event, this is really going to help them and move them up that money list. But don't forget, after this, 2 more events. They're going to stick in Alabama. They're going to go to the Mobile International Speedway coming up the first weekend in October for a 125-lap event there. Opportunity to get some more money there. And then it's going to be a little bit of a break. It's going to be about a month and a half off leading up to the final event of the year. That's going to take place at the Freedom Factory with the running of the 10th annual Bill Bigley Senior Memorial 128. More information and details on that race are going to be coming out shortly. The purse information and all that should be coming out, and the drivers are going to kind of know what that target is going to be that they can go into that last race. But realistically, looking at how the way the money list is setting up, and kind of forecasting and looking ahead to what we think the purses for these final 3 races are going to pay out, I think there's at least 4 or 5 drivers that certainly have an opportunity to win the championship here in the UARA National Tour. Of course, Bubba Pollard has been the champion the last 2 years, collecting the most money. But right now, Bubba currently 4th on the money list, and he's going to have to try to show up here for these last few races and get some nice results if he's going to get up there and compete with Austin Hall and Michael Atwell. So lots to come up this weekend. Again, South Alabama Speedway, the place to be. If you can't be there in person, tune in live on Racing America. Voice of South Alabama Speedway, Ryan McCullough, is going to be on the call and being able to bring you all the action. I know I'll be tuning in and checking out all the action as well. But when we come back on the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast, we're going to check in with our own Erin Wilcox, and she is going to be speaking with a driver that's going to make his debut for the Grant Thormeier Racing team, a driver from Southwest Florida that's had some great success before, but looking to try to get that signature super late model win. When we come back, we're going to hear from Erin, and we're going to hear from Michael Goddard coming up next on the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction. It's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
Race Car Engineering is your single source supplier for all your racing equipment. Dirt, asphalt, drag strip, street rod, or off-road. Their experts can keep you on the track and in the lead no matter what type of racing you do. Hundreds of brands, thousands of parts. Find them online at racecareng.com or call them toll free at 800-882-7231 and make sure to ask for your free catalog. That's Race Car Engineering, 800-882-7231.
When the heat's on, chill harder with Just Chillin' cooling products. Stay frosty, keep it cool, keep it fast, just chillin'.
Five-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Short Track Racing. As you can tell, today we are in a new location. We've got the studio, GTR studio, up and running. We are excited to have our own little area here so that the guys can kind of work in the shop while we're recording. And we're also joined by Michael Goddard here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to go ahead and just jump right on into it.
All right.
We have a lot, obviously, the followers here in the state of Florida know who you are. You've been driving down here for a long time. Mm-hmm. But with Grant being from Michigan, we have a lot of followers and listeners up in Michigan. So kind of explain to them and let them know how you got into racing and kind of your background.
I feel like most racers are. I was born into it. My dad, my grandpa, my uncle, they all raced for me. My grandma even raced way back in the day. I've always kind of felt like it's in my blood to an extent. So I got to watch my dad, my grandpa, my uncle all race together in the sportsman division at Collier County Speedway, or Charlotte County Speedway. Collier County Speedway is where my grandpa raced back in the 80s. But so I grew up at the racetrack, but never got into a go-kart or anything like that. But I loved watching it. I would wear out the VCAs. And I've always wanted to do it, but growing up, I'd play football and baseball. My dad wanted me to get into sports and didn't
Anything
want me
but
to
racing.
Yeah, did not want me to get into a race car at first. We did get a go-kart when I turned 7, but then the track closed down a month later. Never raced it, never got to practice it, nothing. Like, got it, took pictures in it for my birthday, never drove it.
What track was that?
It was down at Collier County Motorsports Park. They had a swamp buggy track, and they had a couple other things, but they closed the go-kart track down and kept the swamp buggy track. And then the mini stocks were kind of coming in, the Pro 4s, what they were calling it, down at Punta Gorda. And so we got, can't remember the type of car it was. We got a front-wheel drive car, got a cage put in it, was going to try to get me into that when I was 10. And then, sadly, a kid wrecked and passed away, and all the tracks changed their insurance policies and changed the age limit to start racing. So there was another car that we were going to start, but I never got to drive or never seen. Then I moved to Atlanta, kind of got away from racing, focused on football and baseball. But for my 13th birthday, I asked to go to Gresham to watch the late models race. They had the CRA Super Series there. Daniel Hemrick, Chase Elliott, Stephen Nassy, Kyle Grissom, I think Daniel Keene was there. I think Travis Cope was there. There's a lot of people from Florida that I was cheering on. But that was the race, and that birthday going there with my dad and Lori and just tailgating on the backstretch. It bit my dad, and I told him I wanted to race, and from there, my racing has always been family oriented, and it's always been through like my grandpa and my dad down out of Naples. So we started planning to move back to Florida and get into racing, and so we moved to Orlando, started building a pro truck, and I got to run that for the first time when I was 16 years old. I started out DeSoto because my home track at Punta Gorda was closed down at the time.
Yep.
And got my feet wet. Partnered up with the big leagues. When we first moved back to Florida, my dad didn't race, and none of us. We were just getting back into the flow of things. My dad stopped racing in 2007 when the economy kind of went down, and when we made that move to Atlanta, he left all the racing behind.
Yeah.
And then when we moved down, I would beg him to go to help out Dylan and Billy. And I remember for one of my birthdays, I asked to go to that race and help them out at Citrus when the F-Up series, the Florida United Promoter Series that they had going on. So I would just jack the car up, torque the wheels, put the jack stands under it, and give the driver water, do whatever I could to just feel like I was a part of it without messing anything up.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of felt it like it was in my blood, and there's nothing I've wanted to do other than football and baseball, but racing really,
it's a different kind of adrenaline.
Yeah, it's there's nothing like it. It's there's so much preparation that goes into it, and I feel like my love for racing really made it to where it was hard for me to focus on anything else. Once I got my first race car, once we got the truck and started building the pro truck, I stopped going to pitching lessons. I stopped going to hitting lessons. I stopped doing summer ball. All I wanted to do was work on my race car.
So you come from a background where you really started kind of working on the cars before you even got into driving them. Mm-hmm. How do you think that that's kind of helped your driving style? Because you got into racing relatively late compared to most guys that you're racing against. They all started when they were kids in go-karts and stuff. So how do you think that being on the working end of working on race cars has helped you as a driver too?
I think it's really helped my mindset with the racing. I understand it's helped me try to understand my feels and what's causing that feel and try to dissect it. I think there's a lot of great racers I've been lucky to race with come up, and I feel like some of the best ones. I mean, now you always talk about Kyle Larson and some of these other ones that just go out there and drive it and make it happen. But I feel like the ones that are consistently great are the ones that know how to make the car better for how they drive. And I feel like it's helped me try to understand what's going on when I start to feel certain things within the car, and then like I can make adjustments, and then I start taking notes of how that each adjustment feels, because sometimes it'll feel different going from car to car depending on what you got going on with geometry or setup. But I feel like it's as far as like a mindset, I never try to worry about thinking I'm the best driver or the worst driver. I try not to worry about anything. I try about focus on having the best race car.
Yeah. And being the one that works on it, you kind of can control more too, because you know exactly what changes to make based on that too. Do you remember, kind of since you were a little bit older, what that first race was like? It was in your Pro Truck. Do you remember the feelings that you had for the first time getting in that car?
Yes. When for the first practice, when I went down to staging, it felt forever. It felt like forever. I was shaking, couldn't keep my feet still, sitting there and then there definitely was a lot of nerves, and that first race did not last long. I qualified good, but my dad had me start last because I needed to learn how to pass, and I didn't belong up there with no experience. And because of, I'll give the reasoning into what happened, but because I had no experience, my dad was like, he took the approach, I have no bad habits yet. So we put an 8-to-1 steering box in this Pro Truck, which is a very quick steering box. And I overcorrected on lap 6 and drove it right into the wall off of turn 2 at DeSoto. Knocked the right front upper control arm off of it. I did it right first time out. I didn't overcorrect after that, but we definitely changed to a 12-to-1 steering box. He said, he's like, I was wrong. I assumed you had no bad habits. And
proving him wrong. What was the transition like going from Pro Trucks did you go straight from Pro Trucks to Supers, or did you have a Pro Late in between?
No, I went straight from Pro Trucks to Supers. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of great racers take me under their wing, support me, believe in me. I think it's just because they always see me. I'm always at the racetrack, whether I'm racing or helping. And at the time, Mike Thomas, rest in peace, Mikey. He was working for Massachusetts Tile with Tommy Kelly, and when I ran the charity race in the Pro Truck, I broke while leading, broke the transmission, set fast time, pulled the one pill, led every lap until I broke. And some people down local a guy wanted to get a Pro Truck, and some people told him that they needed to reach out to me. So we weren't really planning on selling my Pro Truck. He just gave us a really good deal and wanted it bad. So I was like, we'd be foolish not to take the money. So we sold that, and with that money bought a Super Late Model. And it was an older car, but still it was race ready with the progressive motor, shocks and everything. So it was a great, we didn't plan on going into Supers. We honestly planned on going into Sportsman because of the competitiveness to the cost. And then when that fell in our lap, we took it.
Yeah. And what year was that?
That was 2018.
Oh wow! So you really haven't been in a Super for terribly long.
Yeah. That's I think start of 2017. I'm sorry. 2016 was the year that I did really good, or I set fast time in the charity race, and that was the last year I ran Pro Trucks the whole year. And I got in that truck a couple other times on one-off deals. But when I got into that late model, Mikey was teaching me about everything. He showed me a lot of tricks that I was not knowledgeable enough to truly understand and appreciate what he was doing. Showed me about pulling the car down with a ratchet strap to track how the car is getting down on the front end. Talked to me about leading the left front while pulling it down on the right front. Just a lot of things that at the time were kind of going over my head. But I see now like what he was trying to tell me, what he was trying to show me with working the sway bar. And we went to test by ourselves, and I let my grandpa drive the car. He got in it, got to shake it down, and we thought the test went fantastic. Of course, we're the only ones there, and I feel like I was running 1380s. I thought this was at Auburndale, so I didn't go to anywhere that had some speed. I went to a place that I was comfortable, and we left that test super optimistic. I thought the car drove great. We got to the race, and we were terrible.
Did the car still have the same feel that it had
the
during
same,
the test?
Yes, it had the same exact feel. I just was not pushing it hard enough. I wasn't carrying enough speed through the middle. I went out behind Jesse Tilly one practice, and I said, okay, I thought we were good. No, we're really tight. We're
Following
really tight.
his line learning.
Yeah, I realized then I was not carrying enough speed to the corner. And we finished in the back that race. I think I through some attrition, got up to like 7th, 6th. But, it was just kind of an Auburndale race. And then the next race, I went to Showtime, got the car better, started up front, racing with Patrick Starpoli and Daniel Webster. Took the lead, led my first laps in the Super, my second race in it at Showtime. And then I think I finished 3rd or 4th to Starpoli and Daniel Webster. But so we got we got into it unexpectedly, and then it's just been a learning experience. We learn every day now, and technology's always evolving. We had a lot to learn getting into the bump stop game, and it's been a lot. I don't regret any of it. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like everything is always changing within the world of late models. I feel like there's always something new. There's always the next best thing, and it's always interesting trying to be on the front end of that or the learning side of that. Kind of looking back too over your career, is there a race that stands out as your favorite or the most memorable to you?
My favorite, most memorable would definitely be like my biggest win at Showtime. It was the first race of the Triple Crown that he was doing at the start of the year in 2021. And it was a 10,000 to win race, and I wasn't the best car. I was a 3rd place car, but I had a really good car, and I had been coming off of a stretch of having a really fast car at Showtime, but having bad luck getting caught up in incidents that were silly. But sometimes that's how it is in bull rings. Sometimes you get caught up in silly incidents if you're not always on the defense. And I, for a while, have always been more on attack and not defense, and thinking about surviving, trying to think about passing. Yeah. And so we qualified bad. I believe 13th, and by lap 50 I was in 3rd.
Wow.
And it was one of those, we had cautions, we had cone rule. I kept choosing the right line. I'd pick up a couple spots every restart, and just slowly picked them off one at a time. And then I was driving, I was pushing it a little too hard at the start. I got to the lead at like lap 60, and then Steve Dorr and George showed me that they were better in the long run. They got back by me. I was settled in for 3rd, and those two had a racing incident, and I was able to capitalize and get the win, hold off Stephen Nassie and Colin Allman for it. So that's definitely the biggest one. That's a good question, because there's a lot of I do love going to these other tracks. Like there wasn't many cars, but New Smyrna race that I won there in 2023, that was cool, because I love New Smyrna, and haven't been able to race there as much as I would like.
And a few years ago too, you had a top 5 in Governor's Cup.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good track for you too.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. It's also the only place I've been on, one of the only places I've been on fire.
Try to forget that one.
That wall comes up quick when you get spun out.
Do you have a track that's overall your favorite out of the state, even if it's a closed track?
For sure.
What makes Five Flags kind of stand out?
The Snowball Derby. No, it's not just that. I think the way the track races, the fact that you carry a lot of speed on asphalt that's very abrasive, and it makes it to where it's it's a driver's track. You got to know how to take care of your tires, know how to set up your car for the long run, and understand how you're leaning on your tires throughout the run. It's one of those tracks, when you put new tires on, you can drive it really hard and really get after it. And then when you get to a long run, you feel like you're going really fast, but you feel like you're going really slow because you can't get after it because you don't have grip. So I love the art of that and how you have to drive that track. It's kicked my butt.
It's definitely a very difficult track, like you're saying. I've been multiple times, and I always, it's either when you're good there, you're good, or if the car's not good, it's a miserable weekend.
Oh yeah, you're holding on and trying to manage it. I've been very fortunate to have some great opportunities there that didn't plan out. That didn't pan out the way I had hoped. But I can't wait to try to get back and get redemption on that place. That's really the main place I've got circled, because we've kind of dialed our racing down. I really want to go back there. I mean, at this point, I won't be there this year, but I'm hoping to be
quite
there
a hike for you.
Yeah.
down in Naples, it's a long way to get down there.
I think
Or up there.
The other hard part is until championship weekend, they do all their racing on Fridays.
Yeah, and with work, it makes it extra hard because you really have to leave on Thursday to get down there.
For us, we try to leave Wednesday night because Thursday the gates open for practice at it'll be 2 in the afternoon. But I don't want to drive 11 hours and then get out and get to work.
Get in the car.
So I'd rather get up there, drive through the night, and then rest through the day going into practice. But it's hard on all the teams that, all my guys are volunteer. They all have jobs, 9 to 5s throughout the week. So when they go to the race like that, they're having to take days off, use up their vacation. So it's one of those you really have to plan out your racing schedule around all that.
Yeah, and it's hard too with the fact of, I'm sure if you're running the Snowball Derby or the Snowflake, you want to go to all of the Blizzard series leading up to it to be able to be in the running for the provisional and everything like that. And it's hard to plan. I think it's 4 or 5 races. That's a lot, as you're saying, to ask for your guys to take off work and everything too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's the struggle we're going through right now. I think there's a lot of racing in all different forms. I think pros and supers are very, very close. The only difference is motor, right?
Yeah.
So between all the racing we got between those two classes, there's a lot of racing going on. They're still managing to get decent car counts, all around the country. Northeast, it's their own animal. They get good cars. Midwest gets good car counts. South, we're okay. I wish we could see it more. I think we're going to see a good blend of it coming up at Op. There's a lot of pros entered in this race that I think are going to run good with a good weight break. But that would be the biggest thing. I know a lot of people get into pro late models because they're easier to drive and they're getting younger kids into late models so early. But I wish that we could get narrowed down to one late model class and just have
because they are
supers.
so similar, and I mean multiple weekends they run the same race. It's just a pro class versus a super class, and when you look at it, they're really not that. I think the idea too was kind of for the pro class to be maybe a little bit more affordable than the supers, but it's not that way at all. I think in theory it's a great theory, but that's the other thing, if we could make that pro class actually be a budget racing class, okay, then have a pro class and a super. But there's no, when they're overlapped so much, it's kind of a gray line.
Yes, 100%. I agree 100% what you said. If you're to have that class, make it affordable. Put a bunch of rules in place to that, where we're all spending money. You're not going to stop money in racing. There's nothing you're going to do. They'll just start spending it more at the shop. But everybody that has pros, most of those teams have supers. So whatever rules you did in place to try to save money, all those parts and pieces would come off a pro and go on to a super. The motor cost is getting up there because pro late model motors blow way more often than supers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think that I think you're going to see it naturally because we're not going to have a choice come. I mean, I want to race as long as possible. I love this stuff. I love it. It's my life. I want it to be around, as long as possible. So I think that's something that is going to come regardless. but I wish that everybody would kind of get together and make it go as smooth as possible.
Phase them out or phase them together to get.
You're never going to make everybody happy.
No, that's one thing with racing. Never will ever.
It's easy for me to say I don't have a pro.
True. And overall, like the past year or so, you've started traveling a little bit more. You've gone up to Georgia and stuff a few times. What has that been like, kind of coming from your local short track to racing? I mean, in the state of Florida, we have a lot of really good drivers. We've got Stephen Nassy and Bubba Pollard that's down here frequently up at Five Flags and stuff. But you've started racing against a lot of the bigger names per se. Kind of how has that been over the past year or so?
They've really shown me how to go about the race weekend, how to handle it like a professional. And it's also watching the crew chiefs and how they carry themselves, how they're always, 2 steps ahead or knowing how, what's coming up or what to think about. And being a driver that wants to work on the car and try to, take a crew chief role when I'm not driving. I try to pay attention to all that and see how they carry themselves and how they delegate work, how they, and try to keep everybody moving in the right direction and pulling it in the same direction. Yeah, that makes sense. And also kind of transitioning with the kind of, you talked about growing pains and everything like that. We are welcoming you as part of the GTR Racing community or crew, I guess. So you are this weekend at South Alabama Speedway for the Frankie Grill Memorial 112. You're going to be racing one of GTR's cars. And so can you kind of talk about like how that kind of came to and how you're feeling moving forward with a new, as you were mentioning, a new car. So it's a different driving style a little bit that you'll be adjusting to this weekend. Yeah. So 2 years ago at the Rattler, Grant was there with his pro car. Jared Warren was crew chiefing for him. And they were struggling just a little bit, and Jared had come over to me and asked me if I could go ahead and jump in it during practice to see how the car was. So I went over there after my super practice, got in it, and the car felt really good. It really shocked me because it was an older car, and I got out and they showed me race monitor, and I was third on the board for the open practice for the pros, and I was like, okay, I guess it backed up how it felt. And so I told Jared about the car, what I thought we could work on, and went back to my trailer and went back to work on the Super. That day finished, we all stayed at, there's not many hotels in South Alabama, so we were all staying at the same Holiday Inn, and in the lobby I was just kind of, after seeing the speed it had, I was very excited, wanted to try to drive it again. So I kept, trying to bother Grant, you need me to race it, I'll drive it. You need me to drive it, I'll drive it. And so they ended up moving the Super race to Saturday because of the rain that was going to come in Sunday. And Jared had it set up for me on Friday to go ahead and make a mock run in it for him to see what it had. And again, put it up top 5 on the speed charts. It felt really good about the car. Went back over to my other trailer, and then Grant finally came over that night, on Friday night, and it's like, all right, I want you to race it. You can race it. So, and then, of course, they're moving the Super race, so I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to have a busy day, doing both the Pro and Super same day, and qualified 4th for the baby Rattler with it. And then, unfortunately, had to pull out early. The car, I thought was going to build free because of how it was driving, and then it went super tight right away. And I knew we had a problem, but didn't know exactly what the problem was. Yeah. But because of the weather we had, moisture, water got into the tire while they were mounting up because they were mounting the tires during a rainstorm. I come in at like lap 35 in the right front, already ballooned up to 36 pounds, and the water had turned to steam and made the pressure spike, and it just started chattering the right front the whole way through the corner. Couldn't do nothing to try to make it, stick to the bottom, hold my line, hit my marks, and I just had to pull it in. As soon as I, lap 30 after qualifying 4th, and you're already at the back of the pack starting to get lapped and just dropped like that, I knew something's wrong. Yeah, and it wasn't worth, tearing up nothing. And then kept the car in one piece. Just sad, unfortunate.
It's part of racing, yeah.
Nobody's at fault.
Things like that kind of suck. Like, that's what makes racing, one of the things that makes racing so tough and unpredictable, but also so frustrating, because there's nothing that anybody could have done other than like not have it rain.
So we moving forward, me and Grant have always talked in passing, but I've focused on my own stuff, my family program. I love racing with my dad and my family. He's taught me everything I know, but through this year, through wrecking and not having the opportunity, I've only raced twice this year.
Yeah.
So I've been at the track just working with Cody Martell, working with other people. So I seen Grant at Auburndale when I was helping out Colin Allman after I broke Friday night and couldn't race. So I started talking to him, and he mentioned, having a car for me to drive. I said, I'm in. Tell me whatever I got to do, I'll do it. I want to be hands-on. I wouldn't really, we all love driving, but I prefer to try to be involved and understand what's going on and learning, about the car. So we just got to talking, had a couple phone calls, and as soon as we knew it was a go, I was up here on the weekends working on the car, try to get ready to go and change some stuff over, clean some stuff up, everything that I've learned working with these other teams, and trying to implement that on the just the fabrication side of it and how you hang the bodies, and just trying to clean it up. Clean it up, make it look good. That's the biggest thing, is making it out. If it looks good, it'll run. If it looks good, it'll run good. Yeah, that's the hopes.
And if everything's tied up, squared away, where and it's how it's supposed to be, it's easy to make those adjustments at the track. So it's all definitely about the preparation at the shop before too. Kind of how you were talking too, being hands-on and wanting to focus on being able to work on the cars as well as driving them. That's a huge thing that definitely, I think, makes a driver even better, is because they appreciate the car more, is kind of, whereas you were saying you're more interested in working on the cars, and driving. You don't want to do one or the other particularly.
Yeah, and I think, as a racer, you can't ever go into the mindset of you not being good enough as a driver. So if you go have a bad day, you can't act like the car was perfect and you just weren't good enough as a driver. I feel like if you ever start getting that mindset, you probably need to take some time off from being in the car, because you got to believe that you're the best, and that you just need to get the car underneath you or get it how you need it. But you have to believe that you can do it, or that you're the best. And that's just a racer's mentality. If you start I don't fault anybody for feeling that way. Now, it's different how you go about walking around or whatnot, how you act, but deep down, that's why I focus on the race car, because I don't try to overthink. I know that, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time on iRacing, wanted to work on my, being consistent in the same marks, trying to be like a robot in that aspect. But then I wanted to focus on the cars. I had some, when I first started traveling, when you're running 20th, you got to be able to come home and start addressing things, and know where you kind of want to go with the car, make changes. You can't go run 20th and then show up with the same thing the next race.
Yeah, and expect a different result.
So that's been that. My dad's been the one to instill that in me. He's always kind of taken that approach and always trying to push the envelope with his cars, or work on something to make it better, update something, see how it feels. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then it's up to me as a driver to dissect that down and point us on which direction we're going to go with the car.
Yeah, and with joining Grant Thormeier Racing, what does that kind of look like? Have you thought about what it looks like for your family team, or what 2026 kind of starting to look into next year looks like? Yeah,
I'm going to save my car for Pensacola. I'm going to put it to the side, try to race a handful of races. I definitely want my dad to be there, and all my team to try to be here for any of the races that we can make with the Grant Thormeier Racing. So I'll still try to keep the guys that I've been around helping me out with my car. I'm excited to do more racing. I'm excited to get a notebook going on this car. It's different, but it's all a race car. We all got the same tread width. We all weigh the same.
All the four wheels, yeah.
So it's going to be hard work. There's probably going to be some growing pains along the way. I want to finish the race. I want to have a top 10 run, but there's going to be some good competition. I guess the best thing would be having no mechanical issues. Having competitive speed. I want to stay, I don't want a caution to save me from going a lap down. I don't want to go a lap down. I want to
be in that position.
Be in the hunt and be able to race competitively. I don't want to say, I'm going to go out there and try to win this race. I'm going to try to, but I
always
know
the goal.
I know the reality of the situation, and really I want to go turn heads. I want to run. I want to improve. I want to make the car better throughout the weekend. I want to, as I work on it, I want to make it better, and turn some heads. I want to see it go a little bit faster than everybody else is expecting.
Yeah, for sure. That's always the goal in a new car and a new ride. But thank you for coming in to the shop and being here in person. Thanks for coming on Let's Talk Short Track Racing, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I want to say thank you to Grant for giving me this opportunity. I want to say thank you to Matt Martell and Cody Martell, Forum Services, for always supporting me, sponsoring me, and thank you to my family and my team, my dad, my grandpa, my stepmom, and everybody that supports me. I had to take off work to come up here to help work on this car to get ready to go, and there's a lot of time and money invested into it, and they've all, supported me on this to get me to this point. It takes a lot to even be able to showcase what you can do for somebody to give you an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And you couldn't do it without everyone back home and all your sponsors and everything. So, yes, thank you guys for letting him have off and come get the car finished. And thank you again, Michael, for coming on. And
Race Car Engineering is your single source supplier for all your racing equipment: dirt, asphalt, drag strip, street rod, or off-road. Their experts can keep you on the track and in the lead no matter what type of racing you do. Hundreds of brands, thousands of parts. Find them online at racecareng.com or call them toll free at 800-882-7231 and make sure to ask for your free catalog. That's Race Car Engineering, 800-882-7231.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
When the heat's on, chill harder with Just Chillin' cooling products. Stay frosty, keep it cool, keep it fast, Just Chillin'.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction. It's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.